Hi everyone, here we go. So we've got the chapter 2 and 3 oral quiz coming up. And this is our first oral where you actually have 12 questions to prepare because it will be over 2 whole chapters. However, you still will only be answering 3 questions. I will roll the die. They're going to be coming, from either of these chapters. So the first time I roll the die, it will help me decide which chapter. So numbers 1 through 3 would be chapter 2. Numbers 4 through 6 would be chapter 3. Then I'll roll it again to get the question within that chapter. But total, you will only answer 3 questions, but you should be prepared to answer any of the 12. Let's get started. Chapter 2. Quelle matière est-ce que vous étudiez ce semestre? Number 1 there. What we need to remember to do for our oral quiz questions is the same thing as we would do on a test for question personnelle, which is to say looking for any question words like who, what, where, when, how. Then looking at your verb, finding your subject and verb, you're going to want to reuse the structure. So reuse that same verb, but now you're switching it around and making it make sense for you, the answer, the person who's responding. So if we look at quelle matière est-ce que vous étudiez ce semestre, we find the question word. We have quelle matière, which is part of your vocabulary. Matière, go back in your book and figure out that one. That one's academic subjects. So which subjects? Notice here that it's plural. So I'm asking you to mention not just one, but multiple. Est-ce que, that's just my indication that's a question, right? And we get to my subject verb. My subject is vous. My verb is étudier. I can see that because I see the ending matching with my vous form. Vous étudiez ce semestre. So you want to reuse that same structure of subject-verb using étudier in the present tense and answer. Your vous, for example, will become je, right? A you question becomes I. And then étudier, I want to make sure to conjugate correctly. Étudie, for example, watch out for vowels. Now I have j'étudie, and then you're going to fill out, remember, articles always come before nouns. So something like le français, l'histoire, les mathématiques, etc. So be careful with the verb pronunciation. J'étudie, make sure you're not repeating j'étudiais when I say it, and you end on the appropriate silent E. Numéro 2, quelle est votre nationalité? Question word here. Verb is est, which is a form of être. Votre nationalité, your nationality. So you want to turn this around and create a full sentence with a subject and verb describing your nationality. Be careful because nationalities are adjectives, so they need to make agreement with the subject. So if you are a feminine person, then you need to make sure that your nationality has feminine ending and spelling and the appropriate pronunciation, and vice versa for masculine. Numéro 3, où est-ce que vous habitez? Question word is où, where. Vous habitez, subject, verb. Ville and pays, city and country. Remember, pays is vocabulary from countries. So turn this one around, similarly to the way that you did vous étudiez, and turned it around to be j'étudie. You want to turn around vous habitez to become your je form. Don't forget any of the appropriate little words here. So like I live in Stillwater, for example, and then, a comma, and appropriately saying the word for United States. Be careful on the pronunciation there because it's a tough one. You may have to look it up. Numéro 4. Quelle distraction est-ce que vous aimez? So question word is quelle, which. Distraction, that's the hobbies, that's vocabulary. Est-ce que, question, vous aimez, subject, verb. You're turning vous aimez around, using your chapter vocabulary and including 2 minimum hobbies that you like. Numéro 5, very similar. Quelle distraction est-ce que vous n'aimez pas? So once again, use your chapter vocabulary at 2 minimum, but here you're doing the negation. Numéro 6, le week-end, décrivez 3 de vos activités habituelles. So this is the important part. We're using regular ER verbs. You don't have to be really complicated here. You just want to go subject, verb, subject, verb, subject, verb. 3 activities that you like I ski, I sleep. Well, no, sleep is not a regular ER, but I study and I work, something like that. Chapter 3, décrivez 3 traits de votre personnalité. So this is very similar to nationality, right here, quelle est votre nationalité? Your personality uses the same structure. okay? So be paying close attention to the correct verb that you're supposed to be using, so subject, verb. And once again, your personality is an adjective, which means that you need to make agreement. Okay, make sure to give me 3 of them. Qu'est-ce que vous portez aujourd'hui? Quelle couleur? What is the question word? We have que, which means what. We have est-ce que, which just signals that it's a question. Subject, verb. Vous portez. Make sure to reuse this structure here. Just do it for je instead. And porter, if you guys remember, is the regular ER verb. That means to wear. Don't forget to add in colors. Here again, these are adjectives that need to make agreement. However, these are describing your clothing, not you. So your pieces of clothing have a different gender necessarily than you. So I'm a female, but if I'm wearing pants, it's a pant and it's a masculine thing. And I have plural shoes on, that's feminine plural. I have a jacket on, that would be masculine singular. So make sure that your colors make agreement with your clothing choices. Give me at least 3 articles of clothing. Numéro 3, quel âge avez-vous? Question word, quel, which, âge, age. Avez-vous, we have here an inversion question with a verb and then a subject. Reuse this structure, but doing it for je. Paying very close attention. You're using avoir here to describe age, not être. In French, they have a bunch of avoir expressions, whereas in English, we would use the idea of to be. Numéro 4, d'habitude, vous jouez à quel sport? Subject, verb, sport. Paying close attention to this little article here. I'm sorry, not article, but preposition. Jouer is a regular ER verb, so you reuse that structure. Make sure to tell me which sport you play, okay, normally. It's okay if you don't play something a lot. You can make something up, that's fine too. But make sure that you're using some form of a because it's jouer à plus a sport. A plus le will become au. A plus les will become O with an X. A plus la stays the same, and A plus L apostrophe stays the same. So you just have to watch out for these 2 masculine ones, or the masculine and the plural. Numéro 5, est-ce que vous jouez d'un instrument? Quel instrument? So this first part is a yes-no question because there's no question word before the est-ce que. Once again, subject, verb, similar structure to right up here with vous jouez for sports, but now we're doing musical instruments, therefore you've got the de there. And if you do play an instrument, then tell me which one. Make sure that you're doing the de plus le becomes du, de plus les becomes des, de plus la stays the same, and de plus L apostrophe stays the same. Numéro 6, inventer et poser une nouvelle question avec l'inversion. So you're creating a question with the inversion. It can be anything you want to ask me. Just keep it really simple so that you can get, your points and move on. Remember that the inversion goes from a normal subject verb sentence structure, and what you're doing is you're changing the order, verb, then subject, and adding a hyphen in between and a question mark. You may have to watch out for vowels. Okay, for example, if you have a vowel ending the verb and a vowel starting the subject, then you'd have to get verb with a T and 2 hyphens before the subject. Okay, that's all. Very best of luck to you guys. See you soon.